Welcome everyone, welcome and thank you so much for being with me on this journey. I am Diana Popa, business coach, and today my special guest is Luke Trappel. Luke has been studying the law of attraction, people's mindset, belief systems, habits and feelings for the past 4 years. He has not only changed his life around, but has worked with countless others to attract the things they want in their life by changing their mindset, habits, and by feeling good about themselves. He believes everyone can become more and everyone is capable of change. Welcome, Luke. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you, Diane. My pleasure to be here.
I am honored and I am looking forward to hearing more because I believe you have an exciting story. Tell us more about your story and how you ended up on this path of helping other people.
Okay. Well, where do I start? Not going to go right back to the beginning, but we'll go back to around about my 30s, early 30s. I'm now just about to turn 43. So we'll go back about 15 years and I'll start there. So my background in Australia, I grew up in a middle-class family. My father was a coal miner and a unionist and was rather successful in his field. My mother was a shop assistant and provided for a family. So we grew up very comfortably, very middle class. I followed my father into the mining industry at the age of 23. I tried some different things. I went back to university. I studied engineering and geology and thought that was going to be my path away from doing shift work and actually being a miner and that. By the time I finished that, which was around about the age of 31, had already decided that's not for me. It's just not me. So then I was a little bit lost and didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I sort of just stayed put. I knew I didn't like my job. I wasn't very happy. I ballooned to a massive weight of nearly 140 kilos. Not too sure what the conversion rate that is, but that's pretty close to 300 pounds for people that understand pounds. I do believe it might even be a little bit over. So, my life was spiraling horribly out of control. I was not in a relationship. I was not happy and things were terrible. So then I started to look outside for answers and thinking that, that negative mindset that I had was, why is everybody else happy? Why is things happening for this person over there? I'm a good person. I deserve this, but everybody else seems to get the break. So I was, that's where I was. That was my mindset, and I didn't understand it. And I didn't understand it for years. I sort of stayed in that space till I was about 36, 37. My work life had improved because I started to do something that I liked, which was I got involved in training people on how to operate machines, and I got to talk to people and sort of got to understand more things. And that got me curious, because what got me curious was some people were wanting to progress their careers, or others would say, nah, I'm happy where I'm at. I want to stay where I'm at. This is my spot. I'm happy. I don't want to do that. So that got me sort of interested. Why do some people want more and go and get it, and why some people don't want it and just stay where they're at? So that's where my curiosity started. And around about the same time, I was about 37. So I'm starting to think of 40. Society had told me around, I don't know if it's society or entertainment, TV shows, whatever it may have been, life starts at 40, reset at 40, midlife crisis or anything, but it all sort of seemed to be that age of 40. So I started to tell myself this story of my life's going to change at 40. My life is life starts for me at 40. I'm going to wipe the first 20 years of adulthood off and it's going to change. So with that mindset, and then with my curiosity around the way people was thinking and looking at myself, I started to pay more attention and got involved in the outskirts of self-help. and self-improvement. Didn't dive all the way in. When I really dived in was when I started to look for other avenues of income, because I knew I didn't want to be a miner for much longer. I wanted to retire early and live the good life, which is what we've been programmed to do. We retire at 65, 70, whatever age the government deems that you're old enough now not to have to work anymore. And I was like, I don't want to do this job, this mining job, for another 30 years, 40 years, however long it may have been, but minimum of 30. I'm like, I'm going to be an old man by the time I retire. I need to find a way where I can retire early and live comfortably. So I started looking around, and luck would have it. Well, not luck. The universe actually brought it to me. This is what got me really interested in law of attraction. I met a beautiful woman who I was asking questions. She was in a business that I was investigating, maybe something it was I wanted to do, which was Amazon shop selling. She was involved in it, so I was just asking the questions, and that's how we sort of met. And then she started to ask me questions, like deep personal questions, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good with this. Let's talk. She started asking me philosophy questions about life, like what do I want and who I am, and really got to see who I was. And I let down all the walls. Like normally I have that, well, my old self would have had those answers that are very genetic, society driven, what people expect you to hear. But I let all that go, and I told her the truth. Like I've just let it all out and told her exactly what I thought about with life, what I wanted, my passions, and everything. And then she just asked me an amazing question of, well, why aren't you doing that? And that sort of had me stumped. And I had the same answers that I hear with everybody that I work with now. Well, I have a good job, I'm earning good money, I have bills, I have commitments, I have, a list of things of why I couldn't do it, why I couldn't go and live that life that I wanted to live or dreamed of living. So she just slowly, not even slowly, like it sort of happened within a day. That question just got me, why aren't you doing it? Why? And so I sort of looked at it and realized what all my fears were that I perceived as fears. And then I made the decision, like, our relationship evolved from more of a talking about things to let's meet. Now, my wife's Romanian, I'm Australian. So there was a bit of distance between us. There was like a lot. There was like a lot of things had to go right for us to actually meet. And I love this story. It's something that's stuck with me, and I believe it'll stick with me forever. We were talking in July of 2019. So we're not talking all that long ago. And we decided to meet. And she said to me, well, when are we going to meet? We have to meet. If we're going to see if this is workable, we need to meet. We need to be in person. Okay. So I got out the calculator, the pen and paper, and I went and did a budget. I budgeted out, and I'm like, okay, I need to save this much money. I need to have this much money and put away for my mortgage and bills and everything else. And to be able to fly somewhere, I need this much money. I need this much spending money, everything. And I worked it out that, okay, December's the time that we're going to go. And I said, it's going to be tight, but I can do it within the next 4 months or 5 months, whatever that time frame was. And she agreed with me. She's like, yep, okay. And then about 2 weeks later, she said, we're going to meet in October. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I just went straight into panic mode. I'm like, I can't do that. How am I going to afford that? Like, I've just budgeted it out and I can barely afford to do it in December. And now you've just taken 2 months off me and said, we're going to do it in October. And she gave me a beautiful ultimatum of, if you don't come in October, you're not coming at all. There is no way we're not doing it. So, that's pretty big. So I'm like, and I knew I wanted to meet her, and I knew that she was going to be good for me. And I said, I don't know how I'm going to do that. And she said, you don't need to know how to do it. All you need to know is that you're going to do it. She said, stop planning, stop budgeting, stop trying to work out every single step of the way. You don't know how you're going to do it. Just know that you're going to do it. So that was where I really, the pieces of the puzzle of this law of attraction thing started to fall into place. Like, I was approaching 40. I was 38 and 39. Okay, I did say life was going to start at 40. This person's come into my life. Now she's telling me just to not be so rigid on things, like let things happen for you. And the funny thing was, we did meet in October. We met in Paris. If you're going to meet the love of your life, you might as well meet in the city of love. So we met up in Paris.
I don't agree with the city of love. I know that this is really what people say. I stayed there for around 6 years. I lived in Paris, but I didn't feel it like that at all. As a tourist, yes, but not for living. It's not necessarily my favorite city. I'm sorry for all the French people out there who are listening to us.
I don't disagree with you on that, because I found the same thing when we went there. But, in my mind and, movies and everything that we've learned is Paris is the city of love. So that's why the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre. But yeah, I agree with you there. It wasn't really the city of love, but hey, it happened for us. And I will just get back to that quickly. We went there, we met in Paris, and I actually had more money in my pocket and paid everything off back in Australia that I needed to pay off in October than I had planned for in December. Now, I don't know how I did that. I can't explain how I did it. All I can explain it, the only way that's logically explained is that because I'd let go and just decided this is going to happen, then it happened for me. Money came to me from unexpected places. Opportunities arose within that time that I may have missed out on because I would have been so focused on saving every single cent that I possibly could to make it by December. So that's where, I was getting proof that this law of attraction that I didn't know a great deal about actually works. So what have I learned so far? My life did start at 40. It took a complete new adventure. My financial situation improved 100 million% better than it was before. And I was actually doing something that I love. Like, I traveled to Europe for the first time. Actually, so that was, that's the start of the journey. That's where it really, really began for me. I moved to Romania. I come back to Romania at Christmas time in 2019 and spent 3 months here. None of these things would have been able for me if I had that old mindset and didn't believe that, or believe that I need to budget. I need every single piece to fall into place for this puzzle to come together, and I would be making that puzzle. So by letting it all go, life sort of happened for me instead of me trying to make life happen for me. So that was where it all started. We all know what happened early 2020. We were still in it with what's happening around the world. And that sort of, again, like I was able to pivot. We've made some plans for the year of 2020. We were going to walk the El Camino through Spain and do some other things. And we had it planned out. Then, as we know, again, what happened? So we pivoted, and I said, well, we agreed, why don't you just come here? Why don't you just move to Romania? And, we can actually still do some things. We can still travel around Europe. It's going to be a lot easier. We can start up our business that we wanted to start, which is coaching. And we just got on with it. We just started to let the things come to us that we wanted to come to us. We got married in 2020.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I would say in Romanian, for those who understand, felicitări. And Casa de Piatră, probably you heard it many times.
Yeah. The only thing I knew about Romania prior to coming here was Count Dracula. That was it. I didn't know anything else about this country or the amazing country that it actually is. I just knew that you had Dracula here some centuries ago, and you had a famous castle.
Okay, that's just a story. Thank you so much, Luke. Thank you so much for inspiring us. I really believe exactly what you mentioned. And something that I would like to ask you, because I know that many times exactly what you mentioned, what you lived, is that we are trying so hard to make things happen, or we are in a certain path and we really want that thing and it just doesn't happen. And then we want to give up, or then some of us insist, and then we keep on doing this vicious circle. And I have this belief that actually if something is very, very hard to get, then maybe it is not the right time, or maybe it is not the right thing for me. And because every time I got something which was actually amazing and really big for other people, it would be hard for other people to get it, I got it. And I just believe that I was kind of in the right, feeling or emotion, or really at the right moment. And it happened for me without really making a lot of effort. This happened for me when I passed the competition of the Central Bank of France. It happened when I got my job at the ECB. So it's just feeling like I don't have to do anything, and I just have to let it go, exactly what you mentioned. What do you think that people should do more to actually live that abundance that you are living and that so many people want?
One of the big things that I found to help, and it's something that I'm very attuned to now, is our language. How we speak to each other, and also our self-talk. Now, there are things that I like to call non-positives. We believe that we're saying things are positive, like I am trying, I am doing my best that I can, or way that society is sort of programmed us not to sound like we've got big heads, or that we're bigger than we actually are. We're not, that we want to hide away our confidence in things. Now, I believe that this language, the way that we talk to each other, where we're trying to pull back instead of push forward with these things, has a big effect on our subconsciousness. And in return, that has a big effect on what we are trying to attract into our world. Or again, see, I've just used the word try, but in this circumstance, it fits, because we're talking objectively, not metaphorically. So if you're thinking, I'm doing my best I can, I'm not too sure what's happening, I don't know why these things keep happening to me, or there's numerous ways. What you're really telling the universe is, I'm not ready for this to happen. You think that you're saying all the things right, that I'm being positive, I'm putting myself out there, I've got a good mindset, I'm positive, which I can dive into that too, because that's a little bit wrong, but virtually what it is, it's a non-positive. Mm-hmm. You're not fully committed. You're like, instead of saying I am, I can, these more forceful ways of speaking, which is then going to be telling your subconscious mind, yes, we're doing this is the way forward, which is then opening up that, what we call the laws of the universe, saying, hey, Luke's ready for this now. He's been saying it. So let's give it to him. Is he smart enough to see that I'm giving it to him and there's an opportunity there or not? That's another thing. A lot of people will say, I don't get those opportunities. They don't come my way. It's because you're not fully open. You're so focused on something else that you're missing out what's coming from, left, right, back. You're just tunnel visioned, and you're blocking everything that's around you, and you aren't open to exploring any sort of other options. So that's one thing that I do believe. Another thing is that I think a lot of people, and I do get this a lot, I ask people, this is one of my questions that I ask people generally every time I meet them, what do you want from life? Very good at telling me what they don't want. Then they can't understand why they got what they don't want. And so, well, you just told me what you don't want. So if you're telling me what you don't want, where are you focused? You're focused on what you don't want. So what are you going to get? You're going to get what you don't want. So we need to be able to learn to focus on what we want and not talk. But, society has a lot to answer for in this, because it's the way that we've been trained since childhood.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Luke. Thank you for clarifying this for us. And I would like to ask you, how do we change this mindset? Is it just about affirmations, or is it something that we actually need to work deeper inside ourselves? Is it the self-talk, the thoughts that we are having? How do we go with it and really to build this mindset that we can do it and then go after it without trying too much, without effort, but just letting it go in the same time?
That's a good question, and thank you. So mindset's like 1/3 of the answer to your problems. You can try and force it into, it's kind of like putting a square peg in a round hole. If you're just using mindset alone, you can try and force it. It's going to be very difficult to get in there. You're going to break a lot of things to get it there. So mindset's 1/3. You have to work on your beliefs and your feelings. They're all connected and they all work together. So what your mindset is the stories that you believe. And then what you believe is how you determine what your feelings are around that. So if you're working on changing, not only do you have to tell yourself a different story, and believe that story is true, you have to feel good about it. Because if you don't believe it, you're not going to feel good. If you don't feel good, that's going to affect your belief, and that's going to make it very difficult for you to change your mindset, because you're kind of doing things in a reverse circle instead of everything flowing in together. So I always like to introduce people to this small little triangle. One won't work without the other. So it's not just about working on your mindset. You have to work on your belief system. Affirmations are really, really good, because the more you say them and the way that you go about your affirmations will determine how successful they are. Like if you're just reading them from a piece of paper, or if you're writing them down and you're just doing it because you're doing it. I like to do mine in front of the mirror. And, I say them with pride and with passion, and I try to laugh. I try to make it a good feeling. Why? Because the more I'm in that happy spot, the more I'm believing it. I remember when one of my first affirmations was I wanted to make $100,000 in 6 months. At the time, I wasn't fully believing in it, but the more I said it and the more I looked at myself while saying it, and I'd smile and I'd nod and I'd say, yeah, I'm going to make that 100,000. The more I believed in it. So then my mindset became, and I had some other tricks too, just to keep me reminded of what I wanted. I actually lost it yesterday, you wouldn't believe it, but I normally carry around a little business card in my pocket, and I have a couple of goals written down on it. And yesterday I was walking to the shop and I pulled my phone out to record a video, and then when I come home I looked for my card, like my little business card, and it was gone. So I'm like, somewhere along the line when I pulled that phone out, I pulled the card out and dropped it. So I have to go and make a new one. I would have liked to show. Or
maybe someone needed it. Someone needed to see it, so it ended up there where it had to be. Yeah,
but I come from the Bob Proctor school. Like I studied a lot of what Bob Proctor does, and he carried around this card. He changes it up every now and again, but he carries around that card. And it's true, because he said every time you put your hand in your pocket and you touch that card, or if you pull it out to see what it is, like if you're not, when you're starting and you read it, that's right, that's my goal, that's what I'm working for, that's what it is. And so every time you touched it in your pocket, you remember what it is. You know what's said on it, and it's helping you to reinforce those good.
Thank you so much, Luke. Thank you so much. And I am appreciative of all the lessons you are giving to us, because I really believe that this is the secret that not many people are applying. I know that I am also learning, and this is a growing path for me as well. Thank you so much for being with me today. I would like to close our interview today by asking you, who are you serving and how can people contact you?
I'm all over social media. I just use my name. So my Instagram is Luke Trappel. My Facebook's Luke Trappel. My email address is coachluketrappel@gmail.com. So, I've made it very simple. So all you have to do is kind of remember my name and you can find me. The people that I'm actually currently serving now are entrepreneurs. I work with a lot of new coaches and new entrepreneurs, like those people that are going through that change. They want to do this, but they're not quite being fully successful at it yet. So, or they have been successful and they lost it all because they've lost themselves, and then they're trying to rebuild. So they're the people that I want to work with, and I do work with. But really, I'll work with just about anyone, because this isn't just for entrepreneurs, isn't just for coaches. This can work for absolutely everybody. Anything that you want in your life, but you're saying, I don't know, I need my job, or I need this. There is a way for you to get out of that cycle. You just need to know how. So long answer short, I do work with entrepreneurs and coaches, but I do love working with everybody.
Thank you so much, Luke. Thank you once again for being with me today.
Thank you, Diane. It was fun and pleasurable, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for teaching us. And for those of you listening to us, stay connected, because there is so much more to come.